all the time. He's like, well, of course, for all Jack's achievements, Barnaby inherited the family jewels from me. Much more blessed in the trouser department. I was like, why are you...
How does he know?
Telling, like, the woman at British Airways check-in that my brother has a bigger than me.
You ever been so scared you taste metal?
Yes, yeah.
And I'm just panicking, don't know what to do. And I look out in the crowd, and it's the same audience from the last show.
Oh,
because it's a festival, so it's just and I'm doing the whole same act, word for word. And if I was sober, I would have gone, look, what I've just done.
Yeah.
But where I'm high, I just start dry mouthing. I just walked off stage.
Did you?
Yeah. I just. Oh, that's where I said bye.
How many minutes had you done?
Oh, bruv, it felt like hours. I think it was a 15-minute set, and I maybe got to 3.
Wow.
I've maybe got to 3 minutes.
We went down to the red carpet and we were doing links for T4 from Harry Potter 5 or something.
Yeah.
Now, when I went to go and see the film, I did fall asleep in the film. And I thought, do you know what? I don't need to know the ins and outs of the Harry Potter movie.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was on the red carpet doing interviews, and I knew that we were going to be interviewing the stars of Harry Potter. They've all got like mad names. I'd never really got into Harry Potter. Like they go to like Gryffindor, and there's like Dumbledore or whatever. I never really got into it, so I don't really know the names. Yeah.
You're not a pothead.
I'm not a pothead.
No.
And so I don't really know the names. So in my ear, they were like, everyone was getting really excited. All the producers like, oh my God, it's Boodaboo or whoever. I was like, oh yeah, great. I'll interview them. Yeah. And then they said, oh my God, Djokovic. So I was like, oh, okay. So I interviewed Djokovic on the red carpet, thinking that he was a character in Harry Potter.
Professor Djokovic.
Professor Djokovic. Because that sounds like a Harry Potter name, Djokovic.
The PE teacher.
So I was just like, how was the movie? And he was like, I've not seen it yet. I was like, you've not seen it? And he was like...
Then at 9 o'clock, I get another phone call from that Bristol number. I'm so sorry, Mr. Hanson, but we actually won't be able to deliver your sofa today. We haven't actually taken possession of your sofa. And I, at this point... I dropped to the floor. The rug was pulled back, ready for the sofa delivery, and all the emotion and stress of the wedding and everything else that was going came out, and I broke down in disproportionate amount of tears on the phone.
It's your Michael Whitehall Mugabe moment.
Yes, and I said, I'm missing my wedding rehearsal for this, and I did at one point, I think, say, the Queen has just died. And she didn't know what to do. And she kept, Mr. Hanson, breathe. Mr. Hanson, breathe. And she then, after trying to calm me down, went, hold on, and puts me on hold for 3 minutes. I am in absolute floods of tears thinking, I don't know how I'm going to tell Mikey, my husband now, what is going on. And she comes back on the line and says, Mr. Hanson, I'm so sorry. I've mixed you up with another customer. I'll be with you in 10 minutes.
Oh, no!
And it turned up 10 minutes later.
Halfway through my set, a woman shouted out, what part of black you from? And I was like, what? And she was like, you heard me. What part of black are you from? You sound white. And I was like, wow. Oh, you don't understand me. Oh, I'm British. And they were like, oh, she's British. Like they had no idea what this black girl on stage was saying. And then they just made me yell out. They yelled out things for me to say. Someone was like, say refrigerator. And I was like, fridge. And they were like, oh my God, she said fridge. And then someone said, say aluminum. And I said, you mean aluminium? And they were like, what? Aluminium.
Somebody from the hotel comes over. It is next to the table, and they're like, "Are you Mr. Feig? Your wife is very concerned." I said, "Why?" And I look at the text I sent, and it's like "BXR blood," like just blibbity blobbity bloob. So I was literally just passing out on the table and like sitting like somebody's grandfather and knocking over shit. And
But the waiters were just like coming over, and instead of going, "It might be time to put this guy in a car home or try and contact his next of kin," they were like, "Let's just wake him up and get another call."
No, that was the other thing. They were literally just, it was like, like it felt like PG Wodehouse or something. Yeah. Sir, just put another thing in front of the sir. So whatever would happen, they would just come dutifully, clear it away and put the next thing down. But then I kind of noticed them and they're all kind of watching with kind of these stifled laughs on their faces. So I think everybody found it very amusing. Yeah. This guy was just passing out on the table.
I was doing some promotion on the One Show, and it was back when lovely Matt Baker from Countryfile, and Blue Peter was the host, the most innocent man on the planet, and lovely Alex Jones as well. And the One Show, as I'm sure you have experienced, is, you know, it's a very sweet show, but it's a little mad, and it's a little maddening to be in that world. And so I'd done it so many times, and I was also at the end of like a very boring press tour, and I was bored of the sound of my own voice, and I was with a friend. We were in the green room waiting to go on, and my friend dared me to try and get a word onto the One Show, and I said, okay, I'm up for the challenge. And he asked me to get Seagulling onto the One Show, which is the act of into your hand and then flinging it onto someone's windshield.
I'd call that like the Spider-Man.
The Spider-Man.
I'd call it the Spider-Man.
You've given it a Marvel twist.
I know.
Yeah.
That's always working.
He dared me to get Seagulling on, and I can't remember what it was, but there was like one of those weird VTs, and there was a reference in it to birds, and it was about like some bird sanctuary or whatever. It was
that's quite lucky for you.
It was
then.
very lucky for me. I was like, I can't back out of this now. Like, I will lose so much space. They've literally got Giles Brandreth in a bird sanctuary. This is the perfect tee up. So it came out of the tee up, and I made some reference to Seagulling. I can't remember quite how I managed to weave it in, but I did get it in quite naturally, and I thought like it was so subtle that he probably would just brush over it. And I said, yeah, I've actually done some seagulling at the beach before, and then he picked up on it, and he was like, oh, seagulling, what's this seagulling?
Oh,
and I was
no.
like, seagulling, it's when you feed your food, if you've got your chips at the sea and you give them to the seagull, you fling it at the seagull. And he was like, oh, seagulling. Oh, that sounds great. Yeah, I might look into that. Seagulling. I love the sound of that. And he turned to Alex Jones and went, seagulling, have you heard of that? And there was a look on Alex Jones's face. And I was like, she knows. She knows what seagulling is.
Someone's
the
already
most
Googled
innocent
it.
woman ever. Yeah, someone's in her ear going, do not laugh, do not laugh. Like all of the colour drained from her face. She was like, okay, well, let's move on now to a segment that we have on animal bereavement.
Have you ever been approached by Madame Tussauds? Probably not.
What do you mean, probably not? Don't ask it like that.
Okay,
I have, in fact, been asked by Madame Tussauds.
I'm so sorry.
Although, rather depressingly, I wasn't asked by the London Madame Tussauds. I was
it
asked...
Blackpool?
Yes. I didn't want to go there. I was asked, which really is like the pity ask, isn't it?
Blackpool's
We're not going to
great.
put you in the big London one with all the A-listers. You can have a waxwork
Yeah. Who would it
in
have
the
been
Blackpool
with?
one.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Ralph Little and
Probably
Will Mellor and the cast of
all the legends.
2 pints. How did they do any measurements or
No. I didn't even respond.
Didn't you?
I
Do you
will
regret
hold
it?
out until I get the London offer.
Do you regret it?
No, I don't.
It'd be quite nice.
I want to wait. Until
No,
I
but
get
just
the offer
imagine
for London.
if you'd had it done right, and it was in the Blackpool one, and now with your success and with this podcast that that you do with me, and your stars definitely on.
They'd
on
have
the
anyone in Blackpool.
Hey,
You've probably got one in Blackpool. You just don't realise it.
But they would probably now promote that waxwork from Blackpool to the London one.
Does it work like that?
I think so. Yeah.
What, you can get a promotion?
Yeah.
I don't think.
I think so. Yeah.
I don't
Stick
think
it
it
on the
works
train
like
first
that.
class and bring it
Feels
down.
a bit sad.
Yeah.
And if they do ask you,
Yeah.
whether it's the London or the Blackpool one again, if they come to do measurements, top half can be you, and ask
Bottom
them
half?
bottom half Barnaby.
Oh, that's a great idea. Yes, great.
That's what you can ask for.
Yeah.